I've been in the DC area for the last 15 years. I relocated down here for work since 2009, and I was in the federal government for 14 years, and I just left last year, transitioned to a full-time entrepreneur. I've had my own residential and commercial cleaning company for a little less than 5 years now. We opened in February of 2020, right before COVID. In addition to owning my own business, I also work part-time for a travel brand called Haitian Nomad, which I host trips all over the world. I've been traveling with the company for about 8 years now, and I've been hosting with them for about 3 to 4 years. So I've traveled to over 55 countries, some with my travel brand and some, on my own. And I've hosted at least 10 trips out of the country for others in the last 3 years. Those two things probably keep me occupied the most, the traveling and owning the cleaning business. In my spare time, I may sometimes host dinner parties. I haven't hosted one in maybe since 2021-ish. I used to host dinner parties on a regular basis. Now I probably just kind of do it when I feel like it. But just getting friends together, enjoying good food, good drinks is something that, I enjoy. And then on top of that, I am a real estate investor for the last 2 years. I consider myself still a newbie. My goal is to expand my real estate portfolio and own more multifamily properties. Right now, owning the Baltimore City area. And I'm open to expanding to other cities once I do a little bit more research. And that's mainly what I'm up to on a regular basis, what I'm involved in, and what interests me.
You are very multifaceted, a very interesting person, and your summary of yourself actually answered a few of the questions that I had. So I'll move on to a few of the other questions. What initiated the spark from working in government to venturing into your own business?
So when I had started my cleaning business, it wasn't like something that I had like dreamed about doing or like a goal of mine. It was pretty random, but it took off. And I was just like, okay, like this is going well, it's profitable, it's manageable, like it's something that I'm excelling in, like I'm gonna continue with it kind of thing. And after a while, my job and me running this business were starting to interfere. Time wise, I was kind of like in a toxic work situation. So I was like very stressed on a daily basis, on top of trying to manage, a company with staff members. I got to a point where I'm just like, I can't do both. And I feel like, in the government, you kind of get to like a point where you can't grow anymore. And I felt like I was probably at that point, and that's why it got so uncomfortable for me. So I just made a decision to like move on. There's bigger and better things for me outside of the government. And I need to see like what's on the other side. Because going, to college and graduating and getting a job, you kind of was raised and taught like, this is what you're supposed to do. Go to school, get a job, and work. And working, just, reporting to someone 9 to 5 every day for the rest of my life was just not something that I wanted for myself. So I made a decision in May of last year that, all right, it's time to move on. And based on how things are going now, it was like the best decision that I made.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful way to transition to you anchored yourself in a really great foundation. I think government work provides a lot of different resources and benefits.
Absolutely.
But it definitely takes a special type of person, a certain level of confidence to say you're fortunate to have the opportunity, but to, grow beyond that, especially once you feel like you fill the space.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's definitely admirable. What drives your confidence to step out into the unknown? Like just based on when you said, okay, I started this business, you weren't really sure where it was going to go or how it was going to grow. But once you saw that it caught on, what gave you that confidence to say, okay, now that my job and my business are clashing, I'm going to choose my business over the career?
Yeah, choosing that risky path. I feel like in general, I've always been a risk taker throughout my life. Even, leaving New York and going to Philly, I went to Drexel University. I didn't know anybody. I moved out the state. It was my first time outside of my parents' house. Even moving down here, I got a job and I relocated quickly down here. And I've just always been someone that trusts that what's for me will always be for me. So it's like when I have my mind set on something, like there's nothing that's going to change my mind. I'm like, I can figure it out. I've never been in a position where I'm like, man, I can't do this or this is too difficult. Like, I'm going to try my best to figure it out. I'm a hard worker. I don't quit easily. I tried, to just figure things out on my own and continue working towards it. And with the business, it was a little scary because it's like, okay, with a job, I'm used to getting paid every 2 weeks, no matter what. I can come to work every day and not do anything, and my paycheck is still going to be the same. However, with being an entrepreneur, I gotta bust my ass every day to make sure that I'm making a certain amount of money. So, it was just a different, I guess, arena for me where it was like I'm capable of doing this. It's just I'm gonna have to work harder and be a little more consistent and disciplined. There's like people say there's no days off. There's literally no days off. Like I have to work. I feel like I've always been a hard worker, so it's not a difficult thing for me to do. If you're someone that quits easily, that's scared to take risks, then this path may not be for you.
I love that you gave insight on your mindset, but also sharing, hey, if you don't have this certain type of mindset, it's okay to stay at your job.
Yes,
That's
it's
totally,
perfectly
it's
okay.
totally okay. Yeah, especially with the climate of like social media and all the gurus and everything. I come across a lot of people who have these kind of more loosely based dreams of being an entrepreneur and expounding on an idea, but they don't have that work ethic to match, or they don't have the
Yeah.
confidence, or they don't have that grit that it takes to be persistent, even when you don't really see the rest of the steps that you need to take
Mhm.
and you're kind of just growing through the process. A lot of people don't get that part of it, where that it's probably only about 5% of people that have the capacity to venture into an idea from their mind, regardless of being able to see what their finished work will be like.
Yeah.
To venture through that and just say, okay, I'm going to learn through this process, and the process is going to be rewarding. I don't have to say, oh, okay, when I get to this destination, that's where the reward is.
Ruby.
So with you having such a diverse lifestyle between your travel, maintaining your business, also having it sounds like you have a very healthy social life with friends. And where did you find the balance between growing your business and still having time to travel and like a passion project?
I think I don't want to say I've found a balance because some weeks are crazier than others. I think I have very good time management and I'm very organized. So I prioritize a lot. Like I know if, for example, I'm hosting a trip to Egypt starting on Friday, and this has been my priority for the last 2 weeks. But prior to that, I may have been working on something else. I'm putting out marketing campaigns for my cleaning business. So I try to prioritize a lot and focus on what do I need to be working on right now. And anything else is like I kind of push it to the side. So I feel like balance comes with just kind of like knowing when to say no to things and knowing, when you're stretched thin. Maybe I'll try this. There's been countries that I wanted to travel to this year that I just couldn't because I didn't have the time. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll add that to the schedule next year. So kind of knowing, like trusting myself, but knowing like my availability and how far I can stretch myself helped in like organizing, all of the things that I have going on. And then being that I'm in kind of like a high stress position, I try to like schedule my fun. I try to like schedule my social events. If I've been working nonstop for like 2 weeks, like I may plan to go out with one of my girls for dinner or something. Like I have to be really intentional about scheduling my fun, scheduling my.
We're going to get right back to the talk, but I want to offer you a free gift. I know. No, it's actually free. Like you don't have to pay anything. There's no shipping and handling or no processing fee. Literally, all you have to do is click the link, download the Self Care Your Way to Success Chakra Alignment Journal, and start journaling and start your path to wellness. It's going to help you get aligned in mind, body, and spirit, help you organize your entrepreneurial goals, and help you get back centered and fill your cup so you can pour back into the communities that you serve. So click the link, download your free copy of Self Care to Success Chakra Alignment Journal, and then give me some feedback. Let me know what you want to see in this journal, because this is the cool part about the virtual journal. As I add more to it, you get the updates. So, no, you'll never have to buy another journal. You'll never have to download another version of it. You're going to get all of the updates as the new editions come out. And this is like my gift back to humanity. This is my gift back to the almost 600 women who have joined in solidarity to support the success of this podcast. And I want to see you all prioritizing your self-care. So click the link, get your self-care journal, and let's get back to this talk with this wonderful, wonderful woman in business.
Like I have to be really intentional about scheduling my fun, scheduling my rest. Like, okay, I've been going hard. This weekend we not doing nothing. We shutting everything down. We're
Yeah.
gonna binge watch some Netflix or something. So I kind of have to just kind of monitor how I'm feeling and then ju adjust based on that.
Okay, that's wonderful. So what I took from that was time management, prioritizing one, yourself, your goals, yourself, being able to say no, not feeling guilty for saying no,
Yes.
and being realistic about rest and enjoyment being just as important as hard work.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's wonderful. Where in the mix of all of the things that you have to manage as far as your time, do you prioritize self-care?
I think I've gotten much better with self-care within the last year. Because I just got a therapist last year. So she makes sure to bring that up all the time. So now I feel like I have a better handle on just making sure I'm, getting at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, doing something that I enjoy, whether it's like it could be cooking a meal for myself or, going to a party with some friends or something like that. I try to just stay on top of like making sure I keep fun and rest involved in my schedule, no matter what's going on. And then in general, like if I feel like I'm really beat down or, I'm feeling maybe I know when I get burnt out, like either my face starts breaking out or I start having like insomnia, I'll try to like schedule like a spa date or something, or maybe schedule like a little 4 day weekend trip to like the islands, stay with a friend or something. It's just kind of like monitoring my body and like making sure that like I recognize when like, okay, it's time to take a break. And then when I do recognize that I actually take the action to take the break. So I think I'm pretty good with that within the last year. Like I make sure that I'm monitoring my stress, monitoring how I'm feeling, and like kind of implementing something when I feel like I'm burning out and noticing those signs when burnout is, approaching. Because it's inevitable with this being like an entrepreneur full time, especially with all of the types of things that I'm involved in. Like it approaches ever so often. So it's just making sure I'll stay on top of it, I'll monitor it, and I adjust when that time comes.
That's beautiful. I love that you are in tune with yourself. You pay
Mhm.
attention to your body, your feelings, physical, mental changes, and that plays such a huge part in alignment in mind, body, spirit, and even your business, how you show up for your business and in your personal life. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Because I also feel like, sometimes you can tell when like I can tell when I'm burnt out because I become irritable. And it's like,
yeah,
one of my staff members can ask me a question and I want to spaz out and it's just like, it's not her, it's me. Like, so it's like,
yeah.
all right, take a step back. Like after, business closed today, like go get you a cocktail or something and relax for the rest of the day. So I try my best to pay attention to how I react, how I'm feeling, and how I'm navigating things.
Absolutely. How many people, if you don't mind sharing that, do you have to manage on a day to day?
Sure. So we have 7 cleaning teams, and then I have 2 virtual assistants. So the 2 virtual assistants manage like the day-to-day customer inquiries, scheduling, communicating with the cleaners, making sure, they're getting to the customers' homes on time. And if there's any issues with the customers, they kind of, facilitate that with me and the cleaners. So it's managing the 2 virtual assistants and then the cleaning teams. And I would say 9 times out of 10, like my staff is great. Sometimes they forget things, they make mistakes, they make bad decisions, and like it's additional work for me, and I got to step in. Or, sometimes there's a customer that may be irate, and it has to be elevated to me, and I have to step in and like manage that. So, managing the staff plus making sure things go smoothly on like a day-to-day basis is kind of like what my like Monday through Saturday looks like.
Okay. So, what is one of the most interesting developments or things that you've learned about the cleaning business or industry since venturing into it in 20?
Yeah, I would say the most I've learned a lot as like I learned a lot about like customer service, and I kind of have to teach my staff this a lot also, because it's like sometimes someone can have an excellent cleaning, the actual cleaning, but maybe their experience leading up to the cleaning sucked. Maybe the team was 2 hours late. Maybe the team broke something. Maybe the communication was off between our virtual assistants and the customer. So I really learned how to build a customer experience that is ideal, where the customer feels valued. They feel like this is making my life easier. I can trust these people. I can rely on them. I can go about my day. I can go to work and I don't have to worry about anything. So that's one thing that I kind of like learned, that like locking down a customer, like getting a customer to be loyal to your business, is about creating an experience that makes life easier for them and makes them feel like they can trust you no matter what. So I just that was something I learned along the way, and something I learned that was like critical for me to be able to like maintain like a certain level of business. So it's like, we may have X clients, X amount of clients a month, recurring clients that, get maybe a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly cleanings from us, that will receive a certain amount of income per month no matter what's going on. So if no new customers book this month, we still have our loyal customers that have recurring cleanings with us, because we've built this beautiful customer experience and relationship with them that they stick to. So I feel like just over time has kind of taught me a lot about people, customers, customer service, the psychology of customers, even with like sales and marketing. I've learned all of this because this was not my field prior to, starting the business. I was in project management and compliance with the government. So this is a completely different field for me. And this was all brand new. And now I feel like I'm an expert in this area.
Yeah, with almost 5 years of experience, I would definitely say you are an expert. I think it's wonderful too that you prioritize the customer experience, building trust and that lasting longevity and relationship with the customer, because so many times I have had experiences with companies and they may provide a great service, but they don't really provide a good experience. Or
Yeah.
you feel like a number, or you feel disposable, and it doesn't really feel good to continue to pour into a business and you don't feel like your business is appreciated. So I think that's a beautiful
Absolutely.
gem to share with our audience, aspiring entrepreneurs, and even current entrepreneurs that are going to see this episode. So that's wonderful. And it's definitely something that a lot of people who are the new generations of people who are venturing into entrepreneurship, that they need to know. So
Absolutely.
much focus is put on the revenue
Yep.
and not enough. I personally, in my experience, don't believe enough is put on the people who bring the revenue.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's amazing. Okay, so let's see. Are there any new technological advances or things that you see in the future? Because AI and things like that are such a big deal right now. Are any of those type of things tools that you could see yourself using in your business or to expand your business?
Yeah, so I've definitely like tapped into using AI for a lot of like marketing campaigns, using GPT to come up with like a sales campaign for the month of November, stuff like that. Like I'll have my assistants go on our Instagram and boost engagement by like commenting. I'll give them maybe like go comment on like 15 profiles a day, and I'll like generate 15 comments for them to use using AI. So it's definitely helped us come up with a bunch of stuff. So I'm not just sitting here like, what should I do this month? You know what I mean? Like I know I follow a lot of people now where they'll tell me like these are good prompts to use, to put in a chat GPT to come up with this, that, and the other. I use it to help, create content for our social media pages. Right now, it also, if people leave a review on our Google page or Yelp, it has like an AI bot like assist kind of thing that responds to the review based on what they said. So we do have a couple little AI things that we're using. I think it's only going to get better and easier, because they may find me from like a one of the groups that I'm in, and they want to know how to do all this stuff so quickly. And I'm like, okay, like you won't know this until you do this. Like, but you have to do this, to figure out what this is gonna be. Like, I can't just give you all the notes and say here and you take off. Like that's just not how it works. So
Yeah.
yes, you have to do it. You have to do the process in order to figure these things out. Like I wouldn't have known any of this from day one. Like this is knowledge that I gained after year one, year two, year three, and so on.
Yeah. The jewels are in the journey.
Yes,
That's
yes,
amazing.
I love that.
Also, too, I want to give you your flowers and congratulate you. I saw on LinkedIn that you were highlighted by the Bow Collective for October
Yes.
2024 for Women's Small Business Month. So,
Yeah.
how was it being highlighted and how did that affect your presence on LinkedIn? Like, did you receive a lot of traction and things from that?
Well, so I actually forgot to mention that in my introduction. So I am part of this organization for Black women-owned businesses called the Bow Collective. I got inducted in February of this year, so I'm still a fairly new member, and the organization has changed my life, like literally from like the people that I have met, the knowledge that I've learned. Like I've done so much work based on what I've learned, getting my certifications, registering in SAMs to get federal contracts and so on. So that's one of the things that they do is support you and, make sure you have all the tools for your business. And then they highlight you ever so often. So every member will get a highlight at some point. So, it's interesting because I would see them highlight people and I'm like, man, when are they going to reach out to me, from my
Yeah.
headshots and information? And they never
Yeah.
did. And then it just like popped up in my feed one day. And I was like, here it is. Like, I love it.
Wow.
And they never reached out to me. I guess they just grabbed my photos offline and stuff. It felt great. And, I shared it on like Facebook. I got a lot more traction on Facebook because LinkedIn, I guess, is a lot more people looking for jobs kind of thing or
Yeah.
whatever. And I still kind of have to build my presence on LinkedIn as well. But yeah, I got a lot of traction on Facebook, Instagram. It felt great. And it's just like, just being in that network of like supportive women is life changing because when you're an entrepreneur and you're making like a certain amount of money, like you get to a point where you feel like alone.
Yeah.
And a lot of people you can't relate to, they can't relate to you. And it's like you're kind of just on this island, you're by yourself. But when I joined the Bow Collective, it was over 200 women just like me. You know what I mean? Navigating their own business. Some of them are into real estate investments, some of them have manage multiple businesses. Some of them been doing this for 20, 30 years. Some of them are brand new. So it's just like different levels, different, experiences to learn from. It's amazing.
That is amazing. One thing that I do talk about on my social media platforms is about having intergenerational, intercontinental, horizontal, and lateral relationships within your network because your network really is your net worth. And
Absolutely.
it doesn't limit you to your net worth, but you learn so much from interacting with people, sharing ideas, conversations, learning about what people are doing. And so much of success, knowledge, access comes through people. And
Yes.
so customer relationships are important, but also your business network relationships are important. I
Yes.
really truly have learned over the years that relationships are the core of success in general. So I
Yes.
think
It's priceless. You
it's
cannot put a
priceless.
price on relationships. Like,
You can't, yeah, you can't put a price on relationships. And you never know who you will meet. You never know what they will be involved in. And you
yes.
never know what hand they will have in your success, whether it be
Yes.
immediate or down the road. You just don't know.
Yep. Yep.
You
Yep.
just don't know. Is there anything else that you would like to share about what you're working on? Maybe some upcoming projects or travel that you want to share?
Well, it's interesting because I have a project management certification that I got when I was in the government and I use in the government. And once I left the government, I didn't, think twice about it. And oh my God, like you need to be using that. You need to be consulting.
Yeah.
Like so it's a 6-month project and I'm excited to utilize my expertise because I'm like, this is stuff that I worked on for, almost 15 years. So that's something that I'm working on now. It's mainly like my background, project management, managing a project, watching, monitoring deadlines, project team members, making sure everyone's meeting, their deadlines and deliverables and whatnot. So I'm enjoying that so far. As far as trips, I am hosting. Egypt trip this upcoming weekend. We'll be gone
Wow.
for 7 days. Yeah, so I leave on Friday. And I get back next Saturday. So Egypt, and then I'm also hosting a Singapore trip for New Year's Eve. So that'll be a week also at the end of December. So I'm excited for both. I've been to Egypt before, but I've never been to Singapore before. So super
Yeah.
looking forward to that. And that's pretty much it for the rest of this year. I'm just trying to, I want to end the year with a bang, but I also want to end the year
Yeah.
I've learned now how to not stretch myself so thin. So it's I can actually enjoy things and, work one day and maybe relax another day. So that's pretty much it. I feel like New Year's will be here in a few days. Like time is flying. And as far as 25, I guess I'm just looking to continue to grow my business, make more money. Hopefully I can purchase another multifamily property within maybe like the second half of the year and take it from there.
It sounds like you have so many amazing things on your plate, from travel, definitely relaxation, working on new projects. It sounds like you have an amazing network of support
Yes.
within your sisterhood, your friends. Thank you again for your time
Of
today. Thank you for
course.
sharing so much insight. I can't wait. I'm so excited about this episode edited and like highlighting the gems, the information, what you shared. Thank you for your transparency. Thank you for shining light on your entry, your journey, your self-care, and where you're headed. And I think so many people are going to benefit from watching this, be thoroughly entertained, and learn a lot of things that they can take away and use in their journey. So thank you so
Yeah.
much, Poiette.
Thank you for having me. This was fun. I enjoyed it.
Hopefully my podcast will grow. I have a few of your bow sisters who agreed to do interviews. Like the support is real amongst just women
Yes.
in business. I actually talked to Markeisha in the morning. It's not for the podcast. We're just having a chat just about like energy and self-care and just kind of catching up after the Audacity retreat. And I want to wish you much more success on your journey. I can't wait to hear where your story and your business grows and ventures to. And I can't wait to hear about your trips because Singapore is beautiful. I think you are
Yeah.
going to be pleasantly delighted and surprised. I mean, the architecture, the culture, the people. Singapore is beautiful. So I know you're going to love it.
Yes. Thank you so much. I
Yes.
love it. I really appreciate you. My business, No More Dust Maid Services. Our website is www.nmd, Nancy Mary David, maidservices.com. We service the entire DC and Baltimore metro areas. And you can find me on Instagram at Poi State of Mind, POI State of Mind. And our Instagram for No More Dust Maid Services is nmdmaidservices.com.
Good
Have a good
night.
night. Bye.
You too. Bye.